All right, let's get right into it. We are talking about, truly one of the most influential and honestly mysterious figures in modern culture. This is an artist who took something like a simple folk song and somehow turned it into capital L literature, completely changing music forever. Of course, we're talking about Bob Dylan.
And to really get a sense of his impact, let's start at the very, very top. So, back in 2016, pretty much the whole world was just stunned when Bob Dylan was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. And not some music award, the most prestigious literary award on the entire planet. The Nobel Committee's reason? They said he created new poetic expressions. They saw that he wasn't just writing songs. No, he was creating legitimate poetry.
So that really is the big question, right? How in the world did a kid from Minnesota, this kid, Robert Zimmerman, end up sharing a stage, figuratively speaking, with the world's greatest novelists and poets? It's an absolutely incredible story, and that's what we're going to unpack right now.
All right, so how did he pull it off? Well, the answer doesn't start in some big fancy concert hall. Nope, it starts in a small mining town. Way before the fame, way before the anthems, and long before the name Bob Dylan meant a single thing to anybody.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't born a legend. He came into the world as Robert Allen Zimmerman, born in Duluth, and he grew up in this little iron mining town called Hibbing, Minnesota. Think about it. Just a regular kid from a middle-class family. It's a world away from the kind of cultural revolutions he was about to set in motion.
But even as a kid, young Robert Zimmerman was basically a sponge. He was soaking up this incredible mix of influences. It was like a potent cocktail of American art. You had the storytelling of folk icon Woody Guthrie, the pure heartache of country star Hank Williams, the just explosive energy of early rock and roll, and then, and this is so crucial, he was reading the wild poetic wordplay of the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas, a name that, might sound a little familiar, right?
So with all that music and all that poetry just swirling around in his head, he makes the move that changes everything. In 1961, Robert Zimmerman lands right in the heart of the American folk scene, Greenwich Village in New York City, and he introduces himself to the world as Bob Dylan.
And once he hit New York, wow, his rise was just meteoric. It was so fast. See, he didn't just become another musician. He became a chronicler of his time. He was capturing all the turmoil, all the hope of the 1960s, and whether he wanted the title or not, he became the voice of a generation.
Look at 1963. His album, The Freewheeling Bob Dylan, comes out, and it's immediately clear. These are not just songs. Blown in the Wind, that becomes a full-blown civil rights anthem. A Hard Rains Are Gonna Fall, my goodness, it perfectly captured the nail-biting anxiety of the Cold War. These were powerful, poetic statements for a generation that was really on edge. That acoustic guitar and that harmonica of his, they basically became tools, you could even say weapons, in the fight for social change. His lyrics gave a voice to millions of people in the civil rights movement, in the anti-war movement. His music really, truly mattered.
But here's the thing. Just when the world thought they had him all figured out, just as they were ready to crown him the king of folk protest, Dylan does the absolute unthinkable. He didn't just bend the rules of the game he had just perfected, he completely rewrote them. And this transformation was total. 100%. He traded in that whole folk hero persona, the acoustic guitar, the direct lyrics, being the voice of a movement, for something completely new. He became a rock pioneer. Suddenly he's electric, he's poetic and cryptic and fiercely, fiercely individual. You know what's truly staggering, though? The speed of this whole revolution. Think about it. In '63, he's the face of the folk revival. Just 2 years later, 1965, he walks out on stage at the Newport Folk Festival, plugs in an electric guitar, and the audience boos him. They felt betrayed. And then, by '66, he drops Blonde on Blonde, which is now considered one of the greatest rock albums of all time. That's a complete reinvention in just 3 years. It's mind-blowing.
And that whole going electric shock? That wasn't just a one-time thing. Oh no. It was the beginning of a pattern that would define his entire career. Dylan simply refused to be pinned down. He was constantly shedding his artistic skin, reinventing his sound over and over again.
So after being the folk prophet, then the rock rebel, what does he do? He changes direction again, completely. In 1969, he puts out this gentle, almost sweet country album called Nashville Skyline. Then, a decade after that, he fully embraces Christian gospel music with Slow Train Coming. You just never knew what was coming next. He was always one step ahead of everyone's expectations.
And this artistic restlessness isn't just a studio thing. Get this, since 1988, he has played over 3,000 shows on what people call the never-ending tour. 3,000. And he's not just playing the hits. He's constantly tearing apart and rebuilding his classic songs, finding brand new meanings in them live on stage, night after night after night.
So, okay, after all these changes, all these different masks he's worn, all the different sounds, what does that mean for his legacy? What's the one thread that connects that young folk singer all the way to the Nobel Prize winner?
Well, you can measure his legacy by just looking at the awards. And we're talking about the highest honors you can get across all of culture. It's not just the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's an Academy Award, a Pulitzer Prize for his lyrics, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and, yeah, of course, the big one, the Nobel Prize in Literature. His impact just shattered every single category you could put him in.
Which brings us right back around to that first question. How did he do it? How did he pull it all off? Well, he did it by simply refusing to believe that a song had to be simple. He took what was basically a form of popular entertainment, and he injected it with all the depth, the complexity, and the ambition of great literature. He proved that a 3-minute song couldn't just change the world, it could actually be high art.
In the end, Dylan's story is really a testament to the sheer power of artistic reinvention, and it kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. If one artist can so completely rewrite the rules for music, it makes you wonder, what other rules are out there just waiting to be broken? What assumptions are we all holding on to, in art or anywhere else, that are just waiting for somebody brave enough to come along and shatter them?